Hi, Jack Quinn. This is FST 201, Fire Instructor Methodology. Today I'll be teaching a class on fire protections and their role in public education. First up, we're going to go through objectives just for today. First off, we want to understand a basic overview of fire protection systems. Next up, understand the mechanics of how fire protection systems work, and also describe how fire protection systems relate back to public education. Our first topic, obviously, is fire protection systems. First off, what is it? Kind of basic overview, fire protection covers about everything. Whether you look at from this TV to the desk, to the computer, the lighting, even the camera itself, it all has some type of fire protection within it. So how we orchestrate that is into our everyday lives is essential in educating people. Kind of the three main points that I'm going to hit today in relation to fire protection systems. We're going to hit on sprinkler systems. We're going to hit on smoke alarms and fire alarm systems, and we're also going to hit on to UL listed products from Underwriters Laboratory. So first up, sprinklers. Why do we have sprinklers? The common thought process of sprinklers is, oh, sprinklers are there. If there's a fire, we're just going to put it out. So that's not necessarily the case for it. They're not really designed to put the fire out. Sprinkler systems are primarily there to slow the growth of the fire. So your fire goes through its process of growth, starting from the incoming stage all the way up to fully grown, and then back down into decay. So our purpose of the sprinkler system is once it hits that growth and it hits a certain amount of temperature, that sprinkler head's going to go off. It's going to slow that fire rate. Hopefully it activates the fire alarm if the system's working properly, or set off a water gun, allowing occupants to have adequate time to exit from the building without causing loss of death. Obviously, slow the growth of fire and allow more time for occupants to leave. NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, reports that it increases survivability in a fire by 80%. This is a huge increase than without a system. This is one of our key points that we want to remember for later. There's definitely a cost versus benefit for this. Average cost for a house is about $5,000 to have installed. Everybody kind of looks at, well, I don't want to pay for a fire sprinkler system. You know, it's really expensive, it's annoying, I got people in and out of my house, you got to run pipes, got to cut holes. But in reality, if fire does happen, you want to be prepared. You want to slow that growth of fire, allowing yourself to get out. Without those sprinkler systems, the chances of you actually dying in the fire are greatly increased. That's why sprinkler systems, with that 80% increase in the report from NFPA, shows that it's important to have a sprinkler system if you can afford it. Once again, our big statement on this is it worth your life to have that sprinkler system. Our next key point is our Underwriters Laboratory. You'll see them on the back of a bunch of objects, little UL stickers. Not a lot of people fully understand what this is, so we'll kind of hit a basic on it. What is UL? It's a private company that does testing of pretty much any products that the production company would like tested on. This includes ranges from pretty much everything, just like fire protection systems, from desks, computers, electrical appliances, along with sprinkler systems, how well they work. So what they do in these processes is they go through a test. They'll light it on fire. They'll push everything to the extreme. So they'll do loads over and over again in a washing machine. They'll overpower electrical lights to see how much energy they can take up until the point to where they would catch on fire or mechanically fail. You see a lot of the logos on the back. If you're shopping around, you'll look on the back of the box. Usually down by the barcode, you'll see the UL sticker right here. This just shows that that company that made the product did take the time to send it over to Underwriters Laboratory before they put the product out, and had it properly tested to ensure what's going to be the rage limit on how well this product works. Continuing on Underwriters, they do rigorous testing. Like I said, one of the biggest tests that they do is flammability of paint on walls. They'll have a giant hallway, and they'll literally light something on fire in the hallway, and they like to test how well that flammability. How long does that take for that paint to catch fire? How long does the drywall take to fail? What are the fire ratings on doors? That's where they get those ratings from, is testing those doors. How long can it have flame impingement on it before that door begins to fail? You look at, a lot of schools, all those doors are rated 4 hours. So it can take 4 hours with a fire impingement before that door is going to fail, hopefully saving any occupants inside that room. Like I said, they are tested to the extreme. They provide a great peace of mind and also in quality control. A lot of companies like to pride themselves if they have this UL sticker. It means it's a higher quality of product and not something cheap you can go buy at the dollar store. Most commonly, you'll see these on are UL, especially light appliances. You look up by where you can screw in the light bulb. See a little UL sticker giving its wattage max on what type of bulb you can use and information like that. These are important to understand while you're going through this. Underwriters still kind of continue on. FEMA reports that were over 26,000 fires in the U.S. in 2009 to 2011, all caused by electrical issues. This is a broad range from failed circuit breakers to improper extension cords plugged in, multiple plugs, adapters into the same adapters, kind of making a daisy chain of them, and also just random occurrences, wires burnt through, rats eat it, eaten by an animal. Based upon these testings, they came out kind of with a couple of safety questions that you want to ask yourself while you're purchasing products out in the store. First off, will the cord be used outside or inside? There's a great difference. This is on the quality of the extension cord and the outside wrapping that they put on the outside. You'll notice most extension cords have that rubberized, and then the wire goes through it. The thicker the gauge, the more likely it is used on the outside, along with a good ground wire in it. The next question we want to look at is how much wattage is being pulled through the electrical cord. Wire is set into gauges, ranging from thick gauge, you're looking at like a 12 to a 14. They can go down to almost a 16. The bigger wire, the more wattage you can pull through. So we want to make sure if we're plugging in a loud sound system that's going to be pulling a lot of watts in, we want to make sure we're using a proper gauge on that. If we use some dinky little cord, there's a good chance it's going to overheat that cord. That cord is going to burn through its insulation and cause a fire on it. Our next one is how far is the cord running? Long. If you have multiple extension cords put together, you have those break points within those extension cords. Those can become a hazard area. Water seeps in if it's outdoors and they're not the indoor ones. So we want to make sure we're getting proper lengths on it. We want to prefer to use one solid cord of a thick gauge if you're going long distance with a lot of watts. And once again, you'll always want to look for those UL seals when you're purchasing something at the store. It's just a real easy, quick test. Look at the back of the box, look at the back of the product. You'll see the little UL sticker. You'll understand that it has been tested, and it's not guaranteed safe, but there should be that peace of mind with it that comes with it. On the fire side, we want to take a good look while we're doing our business inspections through the year. I know with the department I'm with, we perform over 250 business inspections a year. We do take this time to make sure we look in depth at all electrical appliances going through. We don't necessarily not going to ding you if they're UL or not, but we want to look for extension cords. If we have our power outlet strips with another power outlet strip into it, we don't want to do that. Having proper gauge, if it's a refrigerator, we have a good cord. Those are the kind of things we want to keep our heads up. And even on calls, if it's not an extreme medical call or just a public assist, give the homeowner some tips as you're going through. The next big one for us are smoke detectors and fire alarm systems. We all know what smoke detectors are. There's those annoying things that go off in the middle of the night. They chirp, you can't figure out which one because they're all over the house. And then you're going, oh crap, I don't have any 9-volt batteries. This sucks. There are two types in the general umbrella of smoke detectors. You have your residential fire detectors, and you also have commercial grade. All new commercial buildings that are being built are required to have smoke detectors or some type of alarm system in it. There's a great benefit for us as our cities expand. We know those commercial buildings are going to have it. You start looking at some of the older buildings, especially in the older part of towns, North Denver, downtown, you're going to notice all those buildings were built way back before we had those fire regulations. They're not necessarily going to have any of those smoke detectors. They might be grandfathered in. But if they happen to do any renovations, then at that point we can actually require them to insert a fire alarm system. 2/3 of fire-related deaths involve not having or having a non-working smoke detector. This is a big number. If you look at the number of deaths a year in fires, 2/3 of that is because we don't have a simple smoke detector. We should really be pushing this to our public on having smoke detectors in at least one in every single home. That way we always lower that threshold of having that life lost. The key word to this is making sure that they are working. We want to make sure that we're checking our smoke detectors once a month. So whether we do it the first of the month, middle of the month, end of the month, we want to at least be testing it. I know a lot of us don't really do it too often. I myself am guilty of that, of not doing it very often. But we really should. On each smoke detector has a manufacturer's recommendation for a testing process. We also want to make sure we're changing all the 9-volt batteries or backup batteries in our smoke detectors when we change our clocks. We just recently went through one, so now's a great time, if you haven't, to go ahead and put in new batteries on your smoke detectors. That way they're hardwired, then and that hardwire fails, they're automatically going to be backed up by the 9-volt, and a lot of smoke detectors only run off those 9 volts, and they can run out quickly with those little green lights that are annoying. Installation is almost paramount in smoke detectors. NFPA has recommendations on residential homes on where you want to locate these. One of the biggest ones, you want to make sure it's 1 foot away from any ceiling and 1 foot either down away from the ceiling or out. So pretty much you take a 1 foot square, put it up against the wall. Smoke detector has to be outside that 1 foot from any wall point. That way, as smoke travels up the wall, it's going to curl around, hit the top as that heat rises, and it's going to hit that smoke detector with that smoke. We want to try to avoid being close to bathrooms. That means, don't put it right outside a bathroom door. Hot showers, you get those steams. A lot of the ionization smoke detectors, they just detect particles going across a beam. So we want to make sure that we're not having false alarms all the time because due to steam. So we put it a little bit further away from the bathrooms. That way we can know it's smoke or not. A lot of newer homes that are built, they come automatically with their smoke detector systems built in when they build a home. These are all hardwired, so they're interconnected. So if one smoke detector goes off, they go off in the whole house, alerting all the occupants inside the house. The only difficulty with that is you never know which one was the activated ones. On the brochure, on each smoke detector tells you the indicating lights on which smoke detector it is. Usually whichever one is solid red, that's your activated smoke detector. For commercial buildings, we see these most likely in the fire service. You go on general fire alarms to a commercial structure. You got the annoying alarm, everybody's outside, it's freezing cold, they're shivering. You want to go in and investigate properly. You don't want to go anything past that, but we want to make sure we have a good understanding on how to reset and how it works. New buildings are required by authority having jurisdiction on their fire alarm systems, usually by the IFC of whichever year they're using. Older buildings are grandfathered in. We always want to try to learn the components and the types of smoke detectors and alarm panels and systems we have in a building. There are multiple manufacturers within our fire protection world of alarm systems, so we have to be familiar on how to properly silence them, how to get a good reset, and understand how do we detect which detector was activated, and we can read which zone and be able to read a map on our schematics to know where that activated head is. There's also pull stations. There's multiple ways to reset pull stations. Usually you either need the key or you need a good set of Allen wrenches to open those up. Multiple different types of smoke detectors, ionization, just your normal ones. You also have heat detectors. These detect the amount of heat raising to the ceiling. Usually they have a threshold of higher than a smoke detector. Usually averages around 500 to 800 degrees. And alarm panels and how they work. Those things can be frustrating. Usually there's just a blinky light and a couple buttons that say reset. Sometimes they just don't reset. How this relates to public education. This is important. It should be one of our top objectives. Yes, we absolutely love fighting fire. We love going inside. It's a thrill rush to us. But ultimately, our objective should be to prevent all fires. If we can prevent all fires, we prevent loss of life, we prevent loss of property, and we can raise our ISO ratings for everybody around us, ultimately protecting our civilians as we swore to. We want to do prevention through education. We never want to, find something that's wrong and start ridiculing or thrashing someone. We want to try to educate them on why they need it, how they may go about getting one. A lot of departments now offer a program where we'll give you a smoke detector if you ask. And we're more than welcome to come out and check and give you a home evaluation and inspection. We want to take what we learn and apply it in the real world. Whether you're going out for lunch or you're on call, if you're not doing anything, you're not doing an intervention on the medical, take a step back, look around, do your pre-planning, understand what's in their house, see if they need a smoke detector, maybe come back another day and offer when you're checking up on your patient follow-up. A good time, obviously, for public education is tours. Everybody comes by. Obviously they're there to see the fire station. But a good thing, on the way out, make sure you have good pamphlets on home education, on preventing fires, smoke detectors, and exit drills in the home, also known as EDIF. Those are good things that we teach people on their way out. We don't want to overload them. And even when you're off duty, I know a lot of us, when we go into a building, we're always looking for the closest exit. Do they have an alarm system? Do they have a sprinkler system? What would you do if you had a fire in that building? Start to become aware of what's going on around you, and you'll start to have a better understanding. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope it was great. Once again, my name is Jack Quinn. This is FST 201 at Red Rocks Community College.